welcome to Between Two Banjos, Swallow Hill Music's videocast. I'm here with Dustin.
I'm here with Barry.
And thank you for watching. It is very nearly the end of the year, so we decided to do a 2017 year in review. We are going to have some Swallow Hill staffers join us to talk about our favorite albums of the year, our favorite concerts, what we're looking forward to in 2018, and some of us, at least, are going to discuss our favorite singles.
We'll get there. We're very much in the holiday season here, getting ready for the end of the year with our Ram with his special hat and our Festivus pole. It's wonderful, requires no decoration. I find tinsel very distracting. So, we got a lot of ground to cover. Let's get to it, Barry.
Let's do this. Between Two Banjos 2017 year in review continues with our favorite concerts of the year. And to talk about concerts in 2017, we have Lindsay Corbin, who is Swallow Hill Music's event manager and volunteer coordinator. And you work a lot of concerts every year.
I go to a lot of shows, yes.
How many concerts do you think you work a year?
Oh, man. I mean, we alone produce like 250 of them, so...
And you're at a majority
of them, yes.
Okay. So, well, with that in mind, she knows what she's talking about.
Thank you.
So, Lindsay, we're going to count down. What is your number 3 concert of the year?
Number 3 concert would be the Avett Brothers, just because I've always wanted to see them, and especially at the Red Rocks. And this year I had the opportunity to finally go see them at Red Rocks.
Fantastic.
So it was like kind of a goal for the past couple of years. And it's a great venue. I haven't actually had time to go up there in like a couple of years, so it was great to go back up. And they sounded amazing. It was a fun night.
Sweet.
Cool. You next? Cool. Third favorite show of the year, His Golden Messenger, the Bluebird. Just really fun, really solid. He started losing his voice towards the end of the show, and it was kind of like, I was like, dude, just rap it. It's totally cool. You give us funny music, but he kept going, and it was just really great. He's a consummate professional. The band is hot. It was really fun.
I know they're one of your favorites.
They are, and the live show was epic as always.
My number 3 is going to be Roger Waters at Pepsi Center. And I'll admit, I went to this show because I saw Pink Floyd in 1994, and I kind of wanted to complete the set. Roger Waters wasn't in Pink Floyd by that point, it was like collector's glasses. But it was a really dynamic, energetic show. Obviously, a lot of politics, but my favorite moments were, Roger is in his mid-70s. He has this low voice, but he really still knows how to use it. And hearing him sing "Wish You Were Here," it's a song I've heard a bajillion times. It was just so powerful hearing an older Roger Waters deliver this really poignant song. And for a stadium or for a Pepsi Center show, it wasn't intimate, but it also wasn't cold and sterile. He made the whole room feel like it was one. So that's a lot of fun.
Nice. Number 2, Lindsay.
Number 2 is actually a show that we produced at the Arvada Center. It was Dweezil Zappa. And it was cool to see the show and also work with the show because, first of all, amazing band and crew. Super nice to work with, very professional, nothing but good things to say about them. And they played for 3 hours and they never missed a beat. That is a very talented group of musicians. And it was kind of fun just walking around and hearing the show and actually knowing a lot because my dad would always play Frank Zappa growing up. He would play it in the car to get us psyched for our soccer games. Nice. So I was like, wait, I know this one. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun and it was just great to see the show and work with them. And,
Cool.
Nice. My number 2 is also a Swallow Hill event. It was the Taj Mahal Kev Mo concert, Taj Mo, Botanic Gardens. We have an old picture of Taj Mahal from the Folklore Center days from the early 70s, and I got him to sign it, which was very cool. Got to chat with him for a few minutes. It was like sitting there during one of those documentaries. We got to start chatting about music, and he was telling all these stories of how
I was taking pictures from across the
Yeah.
room. Like,
We'll share some of those.
I was fanboying out. It was very cool to meet him. Such a nice guy. The show was incredible. It's just, yeah, he sounds so good in his mid to late 70s. And yeah, it's a great show.
Nice. Well, I'm going to be a homer too, and I'm going to pick for my number 2 show, Noam Pikelny, the banjo player here in Daniels Hall. It was this spring. And Courtney Hartman of Della Mae did a solo opening set. It was just one of those Swallow Hill nights. You had 2 amazing performers. I feel like Noam Pikelny is going to be known, if he isn't already, among the banjo masters, like Tony Trischka and Bela Fleck. And it was, he's in the Punch Brothers, and it was cool seeing him step up into this kind of showman role. Him solo, and just a little bit of comedy, amazing performances, always keeping the songs different, so it wasn't just, a guy with his banjo. And he traded up instruments quite a bit, but it was just a magic night in Daniels Hall that I really, really enjoyed. So.
Number 1.
Okay, are you ready? The big reveal?
Yeah, I had to think real hard about this one. It's actually this band called The Dip. They're from Seattle, Washington. I saw them play at the High Dive.
Cool.
And it's a 7-piece band with like a horn section and a lot of like inspiration from 60s soul music. And it was just one of those bands I discovered on Spotify randomly and was like, well, that'd be kind of a fun show. Saw that they were in town and bought tickets last minute, and it was a fun show. A lot of dancing and everything like that. It was a tough tie for number 1 though, because I love Paper Birds. So like all their shows are amazing though in my mind.
And they won't be joining us in 2018.
Not in 2018, but I'm excited to see what projects will come of their side gigs and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. My number 1, definitely the Jerry Garcia's 75th birthday concert at Red Rocks, featuring Bob Weir and the Campfire Band. Bob sounded great. It was really cool seeing him play with the guys from the National. There was a Jerry Garcia band that played the Jerry Garcia band music, and with the original organist and the original backup singers. O'Teal came out and played bass. Kamasi Washington played sax. Steve Kimmock was on guitar. It was jam fest, but it was really great song selection. It was like, we got to do the best of Jerry's work, and I feel like they nailed it. It was a really fun night. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my number 1 show of the year, going back to Daniels Hall here at Swallow Hill.
Right.
I loved the Paul Kelly concert.
Oh my gosh, that was fun.
Paul Kelly is a songwriting legend in his native Australia. He's a guy I'd never heard of until this summer when we booked him to play in October. And I started diving into his catalog. His recording career goes back maybe 35 years or so. And he's just one of those people that I fell down the rabbit hole with. And by the time he played Daniels Hall, I knew his catalog fairly well. He played not quite 2.5 hours, and it just flew by. It felt like a 45-minute set, and it was really cool. The show wasn't quite sold out, but Daniels Hall was pretty full.
It was
full
so,
that
the
night.
energy in there and like people dancing.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
All the expat Australians.
Exactly.
Yes.
Having a taste of home.
Yeah, I felt like I was peering in on like a club, or it was really cool. And he was such a great performer. His band was really tight. It was just, and it just underscored if you have an open mind, you might discover something you didn't even know you're looking for. So yeah, props to Paul Kelly.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, well, Lindsay, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, this was fun. Thank you.
We'll see you in 2018.
Sounds great.
Okay, on our next segment of Between Two Banjos 2017 Year in Review, we have Swallow Hill Music's Director of Outreach and Instruction, Chris McGarry, and we are going to share our 3 favorite albums of the year. So I think we're going to count down, right? Starting with number 3.
Yep.
Okay, that's what Chris wanted.
Uh-huh.
So Chris, what is your number 3 album?
Honorable mention. Oh, I just cheated. Kurt Vile and Courtney Barnett. Love that album. And then the new War on Drugs. So I couldn't fit those all in. So honorable mention. Do I get disqualified or should I go with number 3 now?
I would say just go for it.
So my number 3 is Sam Amidon's The Following Mountain. Loved this one. It had Sam Amidon going with his usual kind of like minimalist, almost like Steve Reich approach to folk and Appalachian music. There's a cool moment. The first track starts, he sings a little bit, and there's this seemingly chaotic guitar lick that comes out of nowhere until the second guitar starts harmonizing with it, and you realize that it was either practiced or they overdubbed it, and it was less chaotic than it sounds. But my favorite moment of this album was the final track, where it starts out with Sam Amidon doing a kind of like folky banjo, melismatic singing thing, and then all of a sudden we're in free jazz territory, and there's a drummer, and he picks up the fiddle, and it gets wild there, and there's like an 8-minute free jazz folk odyssey. Seemed like a lot of the territory that Tim Buckley went into on the Star Sailor album. So that album wins number 3 for me for just that last track alone. Really like stretches your ears a little bit. And maybe in this chaotic world, that's why I like listening to some chaotic music, because it matches what's going on outside of my headphones. So number 3 for me.
Nice.
And you, Dustin?
I'm going to break the rules a little. It was very, very hard for me to find albums that were released this year that were my
2
favorite
rule
albums.
breakers.
I know. It's not that there was not a great music release, just like what I really dug into, you know. So my number 3 would be Caetano Veloso's debut record. It was an album I was aware of. I'd heard it. I dug deep into the Tropicalia music this year, the music from Brazil in the late 60s. And this album it's just amazing. Start to finish, beautiful music, beautiful production, beautiful singing. It's just a gorgeous ride. It was my summertime album, listening to Tropicalia music in the warm weather.
What year was that originally?
I believe 69.
Okay, cool. Super
Was
cool.
it re-released this year? Does that count?
I wish I could even follow one of those rules, Chris. But I don't think I
Okay,
can.
no, never mind then. Okay.
All right, I will follow the rules with my number 3 album, which is Freedom Highway by Rhiannon Giddens of Carolina Chocolate Drops fame. And this album is a bit of a concept album, and not maybe in the Pink Floyd prog rock kind of way, but what she really does is tells the story of the African American experience in the United States since the end of slavery. And it's a very powerful album. It isn't always easy listening, but it's very poignant. She's an amazing vocal talent. She's a great storyteller. And the thing that weaves throughout the album is she plays an 1800s style banjo, which has a much deeper tone than what we're seated with. But the banjo isn't on every track, but it's woven throughout the album. So you get this sense of this instrument that came from Africa in bondage to the modern day experience as told by Rhiannon Giddens. So that's my number 3.
It was great. I second you on that. All right, third you on
Third.
that?
Yeah.
Number 3?
I need to listen to that one. I haven't listened to it.
I had a hard time. I was a little bit heartbroken when the Carolina Chocolate Drops broke up. So it took me a while to warm up to their solo albums, and that was my thing that I had to get over. But once I got over it, yes, they're incredible on their own.
Yep.
Fair enough. Chris, number 2.
Number 2, all right. Mine is Half-Light by Rostam. He was a former member of the Dirty Projectors and most recently left Vampire Weekend. This is an incredible chamber pop album, I would say. It's pop music, but it is heavily arranged. And at times he's working with huge sounds and then all of a sudden shrinks it and there's just a couple instruments. Really beautiful songs. There's a sort of reimagining of A Message to You, Rudy. The Dandy Livingstone ska classic that was reintroduced by the Specials. So it's kind of a reimagining of that. different lyrics and everything, but it's called Rudy, and you hear that a little bit. And then this distorted kind of trippy Barry sax solo comes in the middle. It's great. And then tracks 4 and 5, that starts out with some like Aaron Copland sounding strings in there. And then that riff continues throughout the song, and it gets put in different spots in your headphones, and then it gets in different instruments, but it's there for almost the whole song. And then the track after that, track number 5, picks up with sitar and oud, and we're in different territory now, but then it brings the kind of Copland strings back. So that is like my favorite moment on the album. So it's just a great listen. Yeah,
That sounds really fun.
There's so much to chew on, and listening to it every time, there's something new I appreciate about it. So I love having a big headphone journey album.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Okay, number 2 for me. Once again, breaking the rules. My number 1 will follow the rules, Barry, I promise.
No, it's too late. It's too late for rules.
Number 2 would have to be Doug Sam and his band. Doug Sam's debut album, famous for being the Sir Douglas Quintet. I'm not sure. I think maybe this one was 73 when he finally went solo. It's just incredible. Country, blues, soul, the Tex-Mex. He was the sort of godfather of Tex-Mex or whatever. It is so much fun. Bob Dylan's on there, David Bromberg's on there, Augie Myers is on there. And it's just, Doug Sam is just a master of all styles of American music on there. He can shred the blues on the guitar, he can shred the country on the fiddle, he's got a horn section in there. It's just super fun, a journey through American music in one album.
I want to hear it now.
Give it a listen.
That sounds great.
My number 2 album of the year is Poor David's Almanac by David Rawlings. And with David Rawlings, you also get Gillian Welch. They release albums under different titles, different performer names. I really like this album because it shows Dave and Gillian have this really playful side that comes out in their stage banter in live performances that don't always come out on their albums. And I think this is a playful album, but it doesn't get carried away. It never gets silly. And even though it's a lot of original compositions, Dave based a lot of the songs off of like old time tunes. So it'll sound really familiar to you from the first listen. It's a really quick album. I don't know exactly how long it
seemed
is.
Very short to me too. It was like, oh, that's over.
Yeah,
I wanted more.
But it's a great one to just flip back over and start playing again. So Poor David's Almanac by David Rawlings.
30 minutes is one of my favorite album lengths.
It's
perfect. You just get to enjoy it, and it means that they've cut out all the tracks that don't need to be on there.
That's right.
Because there's great albums that maybe could have a track or 2 taken out, and they'd be more consistent.
And in the CD age, people were like, "We have 80 minutes. Let's do an 80-minute album."
Right.
And
they didn't to.
Yeah.
So okay. Since you're our guest,
please.
do you want to reverse it and I reveal my album of the year so you can go last, or do you just want to tell us?
I just can't wait.
You can't wait?
I can't wait. This album completely blew my mind, and it simultaneously embraces and breaks the rules. It was a posthumous release. I'm not exactly sure when the music was recorded, but it was released this year. And it is, this is a long album title, so hold on. World Spirituality Classics Volume 1, Alice Coltrane, Turiya Sangeetananda.
We probably should have talked about this because that's mine.
Is it?
We didn't talk about this.
I think you turned it
It's
on.
a Festivus miracle.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Well, fantastic.
We both win today.
Yeah, we do.
No, Alice Coltrane wins today. I think she is an underappreciated figure in American music.
I love her jazz records.
Yes.
I love them. Her debut one especially.
Journey and...
Yeah,
that's a Journey and Satchidananda.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm getting that right.
Yeah, I try not to say them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was so epic. I mean, it's a very unprecedented music. I mean, it's like if, because it's like chanting, but it's mixed with synthesizers, mixed with her singing, which she never sang before, but God told her to sing. So she started singing, mixed with like almost like Detroit R&B rhythms, which is where she grew up, and she was learning how to play boogie woogie piano. And so it's almost like if like Pink Floyd started a band with Buddhist monks from Detroit or something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it sounds to me like. It's fascinating.
And I think this year left me, and it was the same thing with the Sam Amidon album. I needed some new sounds, and this album blew me away because I'd never heard anything like it before.
Exactly. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I expected to listen to it because it sounded like fascinating, interesting music, and then I just kept listening to it. Like at first it was like a barrage, and I didn't know what was happening, and I was very confused because it was like nothing I'd ever heard. The more I listened to it, the more I digested it, the more I enjoyed it. Yeah, and it is a compilation of the tapes she would record for the prayer ceremonies at the ashram,
right,
where she lived. And so, so there's more out there. And apparently the tapes were going for like hundreds of dollars on eBay and stuff.
Okay.
So there is more music. Hopefully Luwaka Bop,
right,
the label that released it that David Byrne founded, hopefully they've got more in their vaults. I know it took them a long time to release it. Like it took them years to talk to her family. And, it's a process.
There's a short, I think it's from Luwaka Bop, there's a short like 10-minute video you can find on YouTube that gives some cool information and footage, and then they talk to her family, because she died in 2007, I believe.
It's been 10 years ago.
Around that, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and the album was, I knew it was taken from tapes, and it was a compilation, but it's really well put together, that it all sounds like a concept album.
It's amazing.
It is, as the term I used before, it is one of the ultimate headphone journey albums.
Very true.
I recommend experiencing, put this on your huge Kenwood speakers or your big headphones, lay down and just go on a journey for an hour. It's incredible. So.
It is. Very.
Well, I feel like everything is going to be kind of a, how do you go up against Alice Coltrane? You don't. I have a list of about 10 albums here, and my number one is, I'm going to go with, it's by the Mountain Goats. It's an album called Goths. Again, it's kind of a concept album. It kind of tells a story about the subculture of Goths. The Goths are getting a little bit older. Maybe the tall platform shoes and the smoke machines aren't as appealing or adorable as they once were, and the Goths are trying to figure out what to do with their lives. And as an aging hipster who's never got, but I just was like right there with the Mountain Goats on this cool album. I thought Mountain Goats always come up with something interesting. I don't listen to every album they put out, so
there's so many.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like I'm listening to one and 5 more have come out. I'm like, but I didn't get done with the one.
And I felt like, it's been a few years, so it was a good time to check in with the Mountain Goats. The music is kind of a stripped down indie rock. There really aren't any guitars on the album, so it's really kind of rhythm heavy, but it's not a synth heavy goth album either. It's about goths.
Right, yeah.
So,
it's not The Cure
naturally,
or whatever.
Exactly. I think it could be a cool album if they ever wanted to explore remixes. I think it'd be fun to have people from The Cure or Depeche Mode or Nine Inch Nails remix some of the songs because they're so basic.
It's a good idea.
But that's out of my hands. So,
are the Mountain Goats a band, or are they a songwriter that is in creative control but goes under the pseudonym the Mountain Goats?
Yes.
Okay, they're both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's more solo, and sometimes it's more rounded
But John
out.
Darnielle writes all.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I know a little about them, so I will take your recommendation.
There you go.
And that's why I love these end of year lists. Like, I feel like I'm going to then, from now until the end of the year, start reading top 100 album lists from record nerds that listen to like infinitely more stuff than I do. Right. And I'm going to find something that maybe upends everything. Probably can't beat Alice Coltrane.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that album.
That's true.
I don't think it can.
I'll be curious how many you're enlisted tops.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah,
thank you. I've I'm like the bully that makes fun of things, and then you invite me to do stuff. Like I made fun of Between Two Banjos a lot, and then when you guys invited me, I jumped at the chance to come on.
We've
so
co-opted
it's really an honor.
Well, we look forward to having you back on again.
All right. Cheers and happy Festivus.
He's done.
Okay, we're back with Between Two Banjos 2017 year in review. We've got our social media manager, Yasman, who you may know from our segment, What is Popping? And
Hashtag follow us on everything, please.
there you go.
And hopefully you can put like things here.
Can we put that on the
like
box?
widgets? Yeah, just like click, 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 click. Please.
So we are going to talk about our favorite singles, but first, Dustin, I think you
What's
have...
a single?
you-
I'm sorry. We came on here to the singles. I was like, I'm married. I
Yeah.
can't, like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, and then apparently it's a song or something. So
Yeah, you don't know this.
I don't have a lot to say about this one.
This is terrible.
So
Yeah.
chime in if you like, but
I'm
you
sure
know,
I'll
that's how it
something to
goes.
say.
I thought I had to like describe what a single was to you for a second. I was like, it's one song that you put out for radio.
Oh, well, thanks for clearing that up for everyone.
You're welcome.
Start us
Also
off,
put
Yasmin.
the dictionary definition at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so
We've been doing 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
I like the sound
Cool.
of that. So I had to think about this because if I went with singles that I truly loved, it is going to look a lot different than what I think actually made a huge cultural impact. So, starting from 3 to 1. Number 3, we have Lil Uzi Vert's EXO Tour Life. The spelling is atrocious, but damn is it a good song. I'm pretty sure it broke like streaming records for a single. It's honestly like a mix between like a Blink-182 sound with like hip hop, and honestly everybody, at least in my age range, I don't know about these guys, have
Never
heard the
heard of
song.
it.
Harsh but fair.
And
Truth
number-
hurts.
Yeah, truth hurts.
Do you want to do yours, number 3, Barry? You guys can go back
Sure.
and forth.
Okay. My number 3, and maybe you've never heard of this band. So, it was a band that Dustin and I got to see at Folk Alliance this year called Cobo Town. They are a Canadian calypso rock band. Many of the band's members emigrated to Canada from the Caribbean or grew up in Caribbean communities in Canada. So my number 3 single of the year is their song London Town,
It's a cool song.
which has calypso rhythms, but it also reminds me a bit of the Clash's London Calling. So it's not punk song, but it's got a pretty aggressive beat, and the song takes a look from the band's worldview of London, once the seat of this great empire, and culturally what does it mean now. So it's a thoughtful tune you can dance to.
Okay, I haven't heard of that, so touche.
Yeah.
All right, my number 2 song is going to the most nominated woman of the 2017 Grammys, SZA, with Love Galore featuring Travis Scott. That really took I keep on thinking that this is like not working and it's freaking me out. I'm in the middle of it. But the song's great and it puts SZA into like the mainstream world, and now she's the most nominated woman of 2017. So shout out to SZA.
I think we're going to be putting together a Spotify playlist to share these
Oh,
songs,
hell
so that'll be cool.
Get your hip hop on.
There you go.
Swallow.
That's right. My number 2 single of the year is by the songwriter Amy Mann. She put out a great album this year called Mental Illness. And Amy Mann's been making music since the early 80s, and I kind of feel like she gets overlooked for how good she is. Album in and album out, she just writes really tight pop songs with great melodies. And the song I picked, because the album is filled with great songs, is called Roller Coasters. It's kind of melancholy, but it has gorgeous harmonies and a great lyric and great melody to it. So it's one that when I play it once, I have to play it twice right away because I just can't get enough.
Nice.
All right,
Number
well,
1.
number
we go.
1 single isn't really just one track because I couldn't pick. But
We have a lot of rule breakers this year, so you are totally right.
Well,
Exactly.
the number 1 single that I'm going to give for 2017 is anything that Kendrick Lamar put out from his record Damn. And that's all I really have to say is Damn. So.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Yep.
My single of the year, I believe, was released in late 2016, but it really had its impact this year. So breaking rules. It's a song called "Finning" by Maryland indie band called Snail Mail, and Snail Mail is fronted by this teenage girl, Lindsay Jordan, and it's the kind of song that teens have been writing since there have been electric guitars, but when somebody hits on that formula the right way, it still sounds fresh and completely new and like you just discovered a secret. And so I'll give my shout out single of the year to Snail Mail for Thinning.
All right. And I'll pay attention to what singles are next year.
Thanks again for being on Between Two Banjos with us.
Follow us on social media, please.
Okay, Between Two Banjos 2017 year in review continues, and we're going to look forward in this segment to what we're looking forward to in 2018. We are happy to welcome our Director of Marketing, Meg Ivey-Yon, on to talk about what she is excited for in 2018.
Thanks, Bear. I'm delighted to be here, and Dustin too.
So good to have you, Meg.
Thank you. So what I'm excited about next year is, first of all, our outreach efforts. We've really kind of gotten the ball rolling in 2017 with our Little Swallows programs across the city, but 2018 we're hoping to reach even more kiddos, about 8,000, I think.
It's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of music class once a week.
Oh my god.
Yes,
Amazing.
so
Amazing.
music everywhere in Denver, so I'm very excited about that. And then on a more personal level, that's personal because I have a little swallow myself, but already got a girls' night planned for April 13th at L2. I'm with her, with Sarah Jarose, Sarah Watkins, and Effie O'Donovan are coming, and we're having a girls' night at that awesome I'm with her show. Going to be, as we have to call it, a bluegrass famous kind of night.
That's right.
Last I checked, there were 5 tickets left, people.
I think there's more.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
So
Shit.
We won't see you there.
You can have a girl night.
There you go.
You can have a girl night. And then the last thing that I'm excited about, Barry, for 2018 is Barry and I work together in the marketing department, and we will be joined by another Meg. Meg Deneen was our summer intern last year, and she will be back full time as our new marketing manager.
Very exciting. Working with Meg was the best.
It was the best. She is great. So yeah, it's going to be a great year. Got some great momentum. 2017 was awesome, but we're just already looking ahead.
That's right.
Exciting.
How about you, Dustin? What are you looking forward to?
Well, since I'm sitting here as a member of the marketing department today,
Sorry.
actually.
Dustin does our archives.
That's right. It's not just Barry, it's Barry and Dustin and me.
I have a lot of new posters from recent concerts that we got signed by artists and everything. Really cool, big, bright, colored stuff. And I love all the old posters we have in the building, but we got some very big, cool, bright, new posters, not from the 70s, from this year. So
look for those.
yeah, some very cool ones. Really excited to get those on the walls. And just continue the archiving, digitizing music and all that. It's been great. I'm go ahead. I'm really looking forward to the Jorma Kalkinen concert. I think it's going to be great.
In February, right?
Yeah, in February at L2. I play a lot of fingerstyle guitar myself, and he's one of the masters, so you can watch him play anytime. It's really great.
So if you don't get tickets to I'm with her, you can go to Jorma for a girls' night or a boys' night.
There you go. Still tickets for that
Still
one.
tickets for that one.
And then another concert. I booked it. Some little, I can't be
Totally
about this
fair.
one. Planina and Marrakesh Express will be announced tomorrow. Get a special preview, but this will come out after the show. Anyway, Planina and Marrakesh Express.
Go to swallowhillmusic.org.
yeah, just whatever. That's gonna be exciting. Planina does Eastern European music. Marrakesh Express does Middle Eastern music. So it's gonna be world music explosion night here at Swallow Hill. So come to that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barry.
Excellent.
3 things.
I'm looking forward to a lot of things in 2018. One of them is Hamilton at the Buell Theater in March.
Because they
I have
need more
tickets.
advertising.
I know, but I live in a Hamilton family, and there are even days where I have to tell the kids, please no Hamilton. Take a little break, but I'm really excited, looking forward to that. I am excited, 2 albums coming out. I'm a big fan of the 1990s alternative band Belly, which is fronted by songwriter Tanya Donnelly. They have reformed, and they're putting out their first album of new material in over 20 years, sometime in 2018. So I'm excited about that. And then also the Smithsonian Folkways, as Dustin knows, I love a good anthology. Who doesn't?
You know?
In next December 2018, the anthology of hip hop and rap is coming out. It's, I believe, to be 9 discs.
Wow.
I
Nice.
have to double check that, but I'm excited about that.
Do you have a favorite anthology to date?
The Harry Smith anthology of American folk music, which is what inspired me to play banjo.
Ooh.
So yeah, so there you go.
This one could rival that.
It could, yeah.
You might start emceeing Barry. Barry might be on the
We have to be
turntables.
between 2 turntables instead of between
Yeah.
banjos.
DJ anthology over here, just like,
Yasman wouldn't let us.
Probably not. Probably not.
And then from a Swallow Hill perspective, I am always excited to see who is going to make the Denver Botanic Gardens summer concert series lineup. Our concert department always books interesting shows. It's usually a good mix of favorite performers that we've had at York Street at Denver Botanic Gardens before, and then some outliers, some new things. So, and that usually gets announced in March, early April. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
Always exciting. And Roger's working hard.
He's working hard.
Well, thanks for joining us, Meg.
Thanks for having me, boys.
We'll see you in 2018. Well, that does it for our 2017 year in review for music Between Two Banjos. And I think the only thing we have left is December 23rd is Festivus. As many of you may know, there are several Festivus rituals. I'm not Orthodox, so we will not be doing the feats of strength. I apologize.
Which is fine.
Okay.
I do those at home. It's fine.
But Dustin, are there any grievances you would like to air?
Well, Barry, I'm glad you asked. Because I got a bone to pick with you in the whole marketing department. First, I want to start with... And another thing. When you guys...
Okay. Grievances have been aired.
Well, mostly.
Thank you for watching Between Two Banjos. We look forward to seeing you in 2018.